What is going on, everybody? Let's see. Got a couple people in the house. We are ready. Johnny Valentine is in the house. What is up? What is up, family? We are in. I think we're good. I think yes, what's up, Paper Reggae? I do have a trade that's open. I'm about to be break even on it. I opened it way early. It was green. I didn't trim, but I added, and then I think I'm about to be green, so I'll be trimming here shortly. Just stay tuned. Anyways, so this CC is in the house. Yes, big week. So let's get to it. All right. I think I'm rolling solo this week, but here's the deal. So we got a big week to recap. Man, I hope I don't lose power too. We're storming. It's like major storm over here in California. Normally sunny California, not so much lately. So if I do lose power, sorry. That's what's going on. Shalom. Hopefully this is working. Let me get my mic up here. All right. So anyways, so let's get to it. Yeah, Papa Powell did it again. You know, that's kind of what happens. But the thing about FOMCs, and we did have FOMC last week, is that if you guys know me and our trading, what's cool about FOMC is that more often than not, very regularly, goes time. Yeah, it's all right. You'll probably be fine. Actually, we're talking about Boeing here, and I am short Boeing. More often than not, the non-farm payroll day, which was last Friday, marks the high and or the low for the entire month. And I would say for the index, for like SPY and Qs. And initially, it started to look like it might have been the high, but I'll tell you, it's not over until it's over. So I'm not putting past the market that could be the low for the month. So don't give up just yet for the bulls out there. I'm in the foothills. Yeah, crazy storms last night. Yeah, power's been out left and right, so it's been a wild one. And as an aside, so I'm gonna have to go a little bit off script today. I do have some recaps. I don't have everything because I did have a couple trades. We had a banger short trade on SPY this morning, and I can show you guys why I was short out of the gate on SPY. Had nothing to do with data, quite frankly. Had nothing to do with data. But if you know how our NFP rules go, well, you know what? If you want to learn how we do that, then you can join the servers. But so from a market perspective, I'm just going to bring this down. If you guys want to bring the chat down here. If you guys want to take a look at some tickers, go ahead and throw them in the chat. We'll take a look towards the end of the broadcast here. So yeah, I think first things first, we gotta kind of like pull back a little bit of what happened last week on Friday and why did the markets act the way that they did. And if I go back to SPY really quick, and we are getting a nice little pop here right now. The initial reaction off MOC was Friday's FOMC. Let me see. Do we have FOMC? FOMC was not good. And then we got NFP, which was non-farm payroll day. And that reaction was very good. So we have two kind of like conflicting things. So number one, FOMC, that's Jay Powell's speech. That's the federal committee. So when he came out, he really had this job of like tapering the stock market's kind of perception around lowering rates, right? And so when we were on Spaces live that day, it was all about, hey, look, we were reading off the forecast. What is the market currently pricing in? And actually, before his FOMC speech, we were very clear. Look, the market's currently pricing in like 6 to 7 rate cuts out of the gate. And I'm like, well, it makes sense why when he said, hey, look, we're not forecasting any rate cuts right now. we're still staying higher for longer. And it makes sense that the market didn't like that. And that's kind of where we had that immediate like flip on the market in the back half. If you were paying attention to what he was saying, it wasn't until like the later Q&A section where the market actually started to flip kind of bearish. And since then, Thursday lows to Friday's highs, the market's actually run an entire week's range within a 48-hour period. So I'm not worried about the market right now. And that's what we sent in our group was like, look, this morning, one of the first things, actually the first thing, right before the market opened, I had to make a point to our group to say, look, the market has made an average week's range move within a 48-hour period. For us, look, the market's due for a rest. So I don't think that we are going to break out of this range today. It's just not going to happen. Actually, it shouldn't happen. Does it happen? We'll see. But can we bounce in between that range? It's a big range. And yeah, we definitely can bounce. So hopefully we do. But we'll see. So that said, here's a little bit of the recap in terms of like headlines, things that we want to look at. Some just funkiness, right? I think we talked about it here. Markets are definitely dialing back a lot of what they had priced in from a rate hike perspective. There was just a lot of that built in. And Powell had to kind of like temper the excitement of the market, right? Before the release, it was like 47% probability that there was going to be a rate hike in March. And then after that, almost nothing. And honestly, I don't think that we're going to get anything in May and later in the year. I don't even know why. I don't even know why the Fed is even forecasting, to be fair. Like they probably shouldn't be. But you know what he did say in terms of the commentary, it was weird. He started talking about like the consumer and how they're losing like purchasing power for like food, housing, transportation. So when you think about this is what's interesting about his commentary, right? The Fed isn't supposed to care about food, housing, transportation. That's why they have this thing called core CPI, and why we have a headline number and we have a core number, because they explicitly take out food, housing, transportation. So like, why is Jay Powell even mentioning this stuff? That's kind of funky to me. That's a little fishy, right? Little fishy. And then when you pull in this non-farm payroll number that we got on Friday, that's where it gets really weird, right? And so we'll talk about this non-farm payroll thing in a second. And yes, the jobs number came out on Friday. Yes, it was significantly higher than was expected or priced in the market. We can look at that. Most of the new jobs that were created, really, they came from the government. Sorry. So that didn't mean a whole lot to me. But the big outlier in terms of non-farm payroll numbers, and we'll get to that when we get to the calendar, was really like average hourly earnings. And average hourly earnings was a huge jump. And I mean, huge jump. But when you think about this, right, Powell's talking about loss of purchasing power on food, housing, transportation. And when we look at this narrative, look, the consumer hasn't been able to keep up with inflation. Like average hourly earnings have not been keeping up. The growth rate of average hourly earnings has not been keeping up with the rate of inflation until all of a sudden now. So the question is, was the report accurate? That's what we don't know, right? And if the report is accurate, this whole move in the dollar, which is just destroying my GDX and gold trade, right? Yes, May, I see you, right? Is not right. Is that weird? Right? So like that should reverse course. So right now, and IWM, by the way. So right now, you know, this whole move up in the dollar that's pushing a lot of the equities down, or like indices, IWM, gold, GLD, GDX down, pushing that down, pushing the dollar up, has a lot to do with two things, right? Like one, the bets coming off of the rates being pulled down quickly. And it also has to do with this quantitative tightening, if you're not familiar with that. So QT, right? So $1 trillion came off the balance sheet of last year. And so QT, what that is like when we're decreasing the balance sheet, that's called QT. When we're increasing the balance sheet, that's called QE. When we go into QT, rates tend to go higher, and we're kind of like playing this kind of like whipsaw with that, right? And so if the consumer is stronger, yeah, inflation will actually stay sticky and higher, which rates will probably stabilize here, but the dollar will gradually start coming back down, and the rates can stay just where they are, and as long as the dollar comes back down, rates can do what they want, stay around 4%. IWM and gold should be back in business pretty soon, and this would just be all for nothing, and be like a bad dream. Please. Anyways, hopium is not the best strategy, but I'm not gonna freak out over this, one day kind of thing right now. So that's where I am right now. Yes, IWM does look good from a balance perspective, and look, she is the redheaded stepchild of the indices. She literally does what she wants. One day you blink and she's like down 5%. One day you blink and she's up 10%. You're like, holy crap, what just happened? So yeah, I don't want to freak out about that. And so a couple other articles, Wall Street Journal comes up, medium, meaning like most of the committee, it does believe that there are rate cuts coming out this year. This is again, like the dot plot thing, man. Oh man. I just wish they would stop forecasting altogether. Like that would just be so much better for the market, but it is what it is. A couple other headlines, back off the macro shenanigans for a while here. Other headlines that are notable. If you guys didn't know, Walmart announced last week that there is going to be a 3-for-1 stock split. So maybe something we can trade off of. If you didn't know, that's going to be effective February 22nd. So the end of this month, Walmart will be splitting 3-for-1. So every one share will become 3 shares of Walmart. I think it's trading. Let's see, what's Walmart trading at right now? Walmart's trading about $1.70. The stock market, they like these stock splits. So I could see this guy continuing to grind higher too. I think that's a tradable event as well. Walmart, side note, like not a double top. Sustained move over 170. I think we can get like 185 maybe. Is that wild? Maybe 190. Who knows? Whew. Yeah, believe it or not. So they do have earnings coming February 20th, and then 2 days after that, 3-for-1 stock split planned and is on the calendar. Interesting. So possible event trade into their earnings report there. Don't want to hold earnings or don't want to hold options through stock splits though, as a side note. Once a stock is split, and if you still hold the options, your options will split, but liquidity gets really funky, and they're no fun to trade, because your bid-ask spreads get all wild and wackadoo. Another one. So I'm short Boeing here today. Let me just look at this trade. Yeah, I think we're gonna get paid. I don't know. It's a little early. So Boeing, one of the first headlines I saw this morning was like Boeing misdrilled holes on 737 MAX 9s, and I'm like, it's not a MAX 10, MAX 9s. Misdrilled holes on MAX 9s. Like, these guys cannot get it together. And I'm like, okay, wait. So who caught it, right? So it was Spirit, their partner, the manufacturing partner. Spirit caught them. Yeah. Look at this. How I know this is one of our crew. If you don't know what HORB is, that's our language. Yes. Spirit, it wasn't even Boeing that caught it. Number one, right? Dave Calhoun. Oh man. It wasn't even Boeing that caught this. It was their partner, Spirit, that caught it. A line level engineer brought it up to their manager. And the headline is that it's going to delay deliveries of like 50 jets moving forward. And I'm like, moving forward? Oh, Sharky wants to join. Yeah, Sharky, I'll give you, hang on. Let me get Sharky a link. This is supposed to be Boeing's job. And I'm like, 737 MAX 9s, they've been in production for a while. And I didn't see anything about, did we check the other ones that have gone out? So I don't know. I just don't think that this is over for them. I just don't think that, I think the market's going to realize that it's not over. it just, who knows, right? Who knows? But side note, I haven't hit my downside target on Boeing from the 260 upside target that I did have. I did have 185 was the downside target. I'm not there. And it's been kind of chopping around this 200, give or take, for a while. It's now firmly below its 200-day simple moving average, which I like. Yeah, it still has to break. It's 200-week simple moving average is about 196, but we've got earnings out of the way, and they just can't get out of their own way right now. So this is a big level to break. If it does break, it's going to be glaringly obvious that it breaks, and this is what's going to be, right? 180-ish is going to be downside. Sharky, yeah, Sharky might come in. We'll see. I just sent him a leak. Hopefully he makes it. So I didn't mean to not invite him. Anyways, and then yeah, Sharky and I got a link from our BFF Uncle Frank over the weekend. I had to put this up, Wall Street Journal, and I haven't even looked at Tesla today. Tesla board members, some Tesla board members feeling pressure to take drugs, and I'm like, Sharky says he's not yeah, I can't speak for him, but he's not the biggest Elon fan. I am. Tesla, Elon for president, man. But God, this thing looks ugly. I just looked at it right now. He's kind of bouncing, but it's clearly not done. It's unfortunate. I am underwater on my Tesla shares, but my God, you guys, if this is where they are on like trying to dig up junk on Tesla, it's okay. As an aside, there was another recall over the weekend. I don't know the gist of it. I didn't even pull up, but I saw this and I was like, okay, if this is the best that you can come up with, yeah, we're probably closer to the end. So yeah, I do have, so God, 175 this morning. That was my actual entry. Like my last actual entry, 175. I had 163.48 was my like real, like the absolute lowest. Here, I'll show you. Possible higher low right over here. So maybe it comes in right in this kind of like fair value area. There's a little volume shelf, but look, yeah, you might want to you're catching a falling knife at this point, fam. That's the truth. 175 came from a different, we're at 665 retracement is 171. So that's it. It's 171.05. I'll go ahead and set an alert there. 171.05. Close enough. It's almost like I had another one on watch this morning. I'm going to take a look at. Oh yeah, I did. Looks like it was triggering. So Google, I had a level here this morning. I don't want to go too far. Anyways, Google, I had this level on watch for entries earlier, and it just hit so fast. It's about 136.50. It hit so fast on Friday that like if you weren't watching for this, it was like there for like all of 2 seconds. I'm like, holy crap. And then this morning it was just gone. So I did have maybe some of our crew caught this. This was just way too fast for me. That is a gap and go. So hopefully they caught it. Oh yeah, nice $2 move like out of the gate. But yeah, that was one where we're looking like boom, boom. Possible swing if this holds. But anyways, back to the main stuff that we're looking at. So yeah, I think Tesla's got some time. Boy, and I'm short, but that's really it. I'm gonna pull this down for just a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and look at get over here, screen. Look at the calendar really quick. So last week, and we'll just hit this really quick. So last week we did have JOLTS come out. So this is a bit of a market moving event. Some of the commentary from Powell, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see this. Here you go. When we look at this stuff, we could do one more. Here you go. When we look at this stuff, so you have actual, previous, and then you have consensus and forecast. So what matters is what the actual comes in against the consensus or the forecast. It doesn't matter what the actual comes in against the previous. This doesn't matter. It's about when you look at the calendars, and it doesn't matter what calendar you're looking at. This is the one that I use. You can use FX Trade or whatever. The consensus or the forecast is what the market is pricing in at any given moment. At that given moment. So we'll have this number before the actual number comes in. And so when you read these calendars, the consensus or the forecast, that's what the market is pricing in at that given moment. So if it's different than the consensus or the forecast, the actual, then you can expect a move. But if it doesn't matter if it's a huge difference from the previous. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. So JOLTS came in a little bit higher, not a huge difference from consensus, so not a big moving thing. Again, consumer confidence pretty decent. I'm just gonna filter this really quick. Do like the 2 stars and see where do we get. ADP came in actually lower than consensus on Wednesday, and then the interest rate decision exactly in line. But again, this was all about the commentary that we got. That was Wednesday when we got the big sell-off. Let me just pull this up here and pull a SPY chart over this. So actually, let me use the SPY chart. Yeah, you guys. So here's the chart that I really use for my view. So this is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. So Wednesday, big dumpster fire. So this is the morning, and I believe this is actual FOMC. We get kind of like this impulse higher, and this candle right here, that's the moment that he says we are not expecting any kind of rate hikes or rate cuts, and then boom, that was it, right? He crushed the market. Let me get back to you. Where were we on this? So, sorry guys, 1 second. Let me kind of merge these 2 together. All right. So that's the Fed. Then we got jobless claims. Jobs, we know the labor is strong. So consensus 212. Jobs look good, right? Manufacturing, pretty good. Non-farm payroll. So this is the big one, right? So we got significantly higher than the consensus. So again, this is where this was a big beat versus actual coming in at 350,000 versus 180,000 consensus. Huge difference here for actual versus consensus. Again, most of the difference here actually came from government jobs. That's not really the biggest thing. So the biggest thing, not the unemployment, it's this. Average hourly earnings, 0.6% versus consensus of 0.3%. So this is literally double. And this is what we're talking about. So when we talk about this kind of stuff, right? And we're looking at here is, this is where we landed, right? Like we were expecting 0.3% increase. This is the biggest jump that we've had. This is a 1-year chart. Look at 5 years. I mean, this is a pretty big jump. Biggest jump we've had in a year. In a full year. And so that's why the market really reacted. It's all about this number. But at the same time, it's kind of like good, right? So finally, maybe the consumer can catch up to this inflation shenanigans and survive. Look at SPY just fully like full retard mode back to where we came. Look at that. Can't believe anything you see out there, man. And again, so year over year, 4.5% increase versus consensus of 4.1%. So when we get CPI, and the last time we had CPI, we're looking at like 4%. So or less than 4%. So now our average hourly earnings are outpacing inflation. That's good. So consumer strong. Consumer should stay strong. And as long as this can stay here, and what we want to start seeing moving forward is we want to start seeing negative CPI, right? I don't believe we're going to get that this week. I think it's next week, but we'll take a look at it. And then we did get ISM services PMI this week. Anything over 50 is growth mode. So for 53 against a 52, that's fine. Let's go ahead and take a look at this week now. Excuse me. Couple speeches. I think everything is past us. Yep, we are good. So tomorrow we got 3 speeches. Really nothing major on the calendar tomorrow. Not 4 speeches. Good night. What's up with those speeches? Are they backpedaling? These guys are going to have some kind of funky like commentary here. Nothing major other than speeches on deck to Tuesday. That's tomorrow. Or no, Wednesday, sorry. Thursday, 1, 2 speeches. Ooh, a big one. So bond auctions, jobless claims. Again, we know the economy's we know the job market's strong. 30-year bond auction. These things have been moving the markets for sure. So we do want to be aware of this one for Thursday. Yeah, we got nothing. So we're pretty much in the clear, aside from all these Fed presidents speaking. What the heck is going on with all these guys talking? I don't know. But clearly we are in for some messaging campaigns coming up this week. But, aside from that, look, so we got a couple 3-year note auction tomorrow. I would just pay attention to the note auctions right now. So 3-year note auction tomorrow. The interest rate story is what's going to tell it, right? It's going to be all about interest rates. So 3-year note auction tomorrow. This is not really going to do anything. Nothing. 17-week. 10-year note auction on looks like Wednesday. These are, and a 30-year on Thursday. So that's what we have to look forward to. That's pretty much it, man. Not a whole lot. So I'm happy with that. In terms of earnings, I don't have a recap slide, but I will tell you that everyone has hit, except for pretty much everybody has done well this week, except for Cat, I believe. Cat actually met expectations this morning. And when I last looked at them, yeah, it did pretty good. Price is pretty flat, had popped pretty heavily this morning, but that looked like just to meet expectations for sure. On deck, so we had McDonald's, MCD. Also, I think McDonald's was a beat, a little slight miss, but pulling back, she usually recovers. I will say, I think I'm going to start doing a different version of our earnings trades. We had a couple earnings trades that go really well. We knew Meta was significantly underpriced. Did send out a couple trades on that. Hopefully somebody took it. I don't know. And Microsoft and Apple, we always know are like IV crush trades on that. So, but moving forward, we do have Palantir today after the close. That's going to be one that a lot of people are definitely going to be looking at. Some pretty big movers. Chegg always moves like crazy. Who knows? Lilly, Snap, both big movers. Excuse me. Fortinet, we have like I'm just going to say this. So Fortinet, I'm not a fan of, but if she dumps, she can take Palo Alto Networks out. Like she can make Palo Alto Networks dump. And that is usually a big, giant buying opportunity. Last time that happened, I bought Palo Alto Networks off of a Fortinet read-through, which is just, if that happens, I'm just going to tell you guys right now, dude, they're not the same kind of, they do the same thing, but they're not, they're really not comparable. They're not even in the same league. Sorry for anyways. You buy Palo Alto Networks with both hands if you see that happen. And last time Palo Alto, it's almost it's up well over 50% since we did that last. Haven't sold it, haven't even thought about selling it. I probably won't ever sell it. So anyways, there's that. Chipotle just continues to grind higher. That thing is just wild. I've just been waiting for, I don't know, some kind of lawsuit to give me another buying opportunity, but that doesn't happen. Enphase, huge mover. Ford just can't get out of its own way. Unlike GM, who's had a huge move off the lows, Ford just has not moved. Yeah, Baba is getting a nice little pre-earnings bounce. I just don't see that happening, to be honest. You guys, China, if I'll go back to this, China, like, oh man, I don't know what to say, right? Like, if you don't know about like this Evergrande situation, look, I think this is it. This is like the biggest, this is like the big property thing. I think this is it. Evergrande. This is going to tell a story essentially about what's going on in China. Like, and they have a huge real estate like lull. I think there were a lot of bets that there's going to be some help coming in from the Chinese government, but that's getting pulled back. I see this Baba bouncing right now. That's pretty much just, it's a good technical spot. It's pre-earnings run up. I don't know that it'll last. We'll see. How about it? I'm short PDD. She's not bouncing. In fact, she's going lower. So there's that. I don't know. ARM after the close on Wednesday. Disney after the close on Wednesday. I'm going to trim my Disney before then. ARM, nice earnings run right now. Pre-earnings run. She's stable right around 73. I think that one can have a huge move. Just saying, there's not a lot of data on ARM, so there's a possibility those options get really underpriced. So just saying. Paycom will be an interesting one to watch. I probably will not play it. They got destroyed last quarter. Them, Bill.com, just completely demolished. So Paycom, Bill.com, we'll see how that goes. I think there's starts with a Confluent. I haven't seen Confluent. One of these guys report first, but they'll all trade. Yeah, Confluent here, Paycom, Bill.com, all kind of trade together. They do all the same kind of thing. Affirm. Huge bets on either side. Pinterest been doing really good. Cloudflare, I'm torn on Cloudflare, honestly. Dexcom probably gonna explode to the upside. I like it. Yeah, I don't know what to say about PayPal. I would not have any bets on PayPal one way or the other, except for maybe sideways. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just looking at this calendar. Not going to take any weed bets, but that's more or less what I see right now, guys. But, we do, let's see. Poor Sharky. He didn't make it. I feel bad. Well, I sent him the invite. That's all we can do. But that said, it's about that time. Almost that time. What do you say, guys? Should we do it? Let's go ahead and do it. We're going to check in with our good old friend, Miss Cleo. All right. So I have not read this at all. And I mean at all. And I'm just literally just reading this. So this is just how I get them straight up. So the top card is the theme card for the week. That's how this works. And then we have one card for every day of the week. So the theme card is the Hermit, which makes perfect sense. I just told you guys we moved the length of an average week within a 48-hour period. And I'm telling you now, expect sideways action. So maybe Miss Cleo's in line with that, Hermit, just chill. So Monday is the Sun. Okay, seems about right. That is the 7 of, I think that's Pentacles. I don't know. Oh, I can 7 of coins, 4 of cups, Ace of wands, and Ace of swords. Ooh, that looks a fancy card. No idea. So theme card, the Hermit. His message is simple: stay away. Iron condors all day long. He often appears during the wild melt up that sets a major top. Yep. He can also appear when the market wants to flush out longs before it bounces again. Yeah, it just means rest. That's what it means, Miss Cleo, if you didn't know. In either case, you're best not to chase, sit on your hands, and keep hold of your emotions. You've been warned. Yep, good call. Monday's the sun. We're usually flying high and getting a little cocky, only to get knocked back down out of the sky. That's what happened this morning, by the way. Right, fading like a falling star. Don't chase rallies here unless it comes after a very deep sell pattern. Also, probably what just happened right now. If we open the day negative, then we may see a different version of the sun, which prints out. Yep. So I think you can trade that range, right? So Friday's high, Friday's low. I think that's your range, to be fair. So Tuesday, 7 of Pentacles, we're working hard to build and grow our crops, and we're desperate to harvest the gains. But this card says, wait a bit longer. Now is not the time to make a move. Just stay patient. This card is bearish historically, but not by much. It's usually indicative of chop more than negativity. As the Hermit says, wait it out. Yeah. Wednesday, 4 of Cups. Someone is feeling apathetic about their position and is quite pissed about it. Okay. This implies that we've seen some mean reversion that plays against the early week trend. It often happens after bear traps, oddly enough. Did she say up or down here? I don't know. 7 to 4 further strengthens the argument for retracement here. Okay, that means downside. It's bullish historically. So maybe there's a bear trap after all. Let's see. Okay, make up your mind. Thursday is the Ace of Wands. Ace brings new starts. We're going from major 7-4 to Ace 2, so this seems to take us back to the start. So we may see continuation from Wednesday, but a pivot. So, okay, so I would still say mark that Friday low. That's the NFP low. That should probably be the base. We might base towards that low and then maybe bounce. If she's saying bounce off that maybe Thursday, okay, this card is fiery and impulsive. Oh, by the way, that's like a 2-day rest, right? So that's probably Wednesday we can break out of this, right? This card is fiery and impulsive. We will see a lot of big energy swings. Your job is to find the trend by identifying blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah. Curious to see how this plays. Okay, she doesn't know. Friday's Ace of Swords. This too is very strong card and has the power required to cut through major support. So Friday, she's saying by Friday we should break through this range. I would agree. Okay, cool. To cut through major support resistance levels. It's skewed bullish in the past, but will history repeat itself? We shall see. We shall, right? I think we're going to move in the opposite direction of Thursday's move, but we'll need to get closer to the part of the week, that part of the week to better discern the setup. Play this like a trend card. Be ready for a strong one-directional move. So Miss Cleo says Friday's the trend day. Her recap is the Hermit says to stay away, big energy on Monday into chop midweek. Then we close it out with back-to-back trend days. Did she say trend day on Thursday? Yeah. So maybe Wednesday is either the top. Yeah. So she's saying Wednesday is the pivot. So Wednesday is either the top or the bottom, one of the two. So if we top out Wednesday, maybe we go downside. If we bottom out Wednesday, maybe we go upside. That's what Miss Cleo says. Take it for what it is. Sounds about right to me. I'm looking at the rest of the stuff. Do I have anything else for you guys? No, I don't. So that's all we got from Miss Cleo. We can go right into this. Unfortunately, I don't have Sharky, so that's all right. I'm going to go straight into here. All right, so this is the trade I'm looking at right now. So Boeing downside here. So Boeing did have a gap day at the moment, right? So this was yesterday's low, Friday's low. As long as we're closing below 206.35, I'm still thinking downside, right? So gap rules apply, equities and indices doesn't really matter to me. Meaning, so we take the gap from session gap. So it's session here, right, to the low. This is like pre-market low. So a pre-market low here, a half gap is 206.19. If we close below 206.19 on Boeing, we should see a continuation in the direction of the gap, right? And that in that case, yes, guys, I am looking for a swing short on Boeing. Let's look Boeing zooming out on the daily. We are at a pretty major pivot. So here's the big volume shelf on Boeing. This is why it's such a big deal. So Boeing, the tippy top of that volume peak is 205.58. So if we close below 203 is going to get real dangerous for Boeing. And we are at the bottom of pretty major support zone. So below this, then it can get real ugly for her. And, that's all I can really say. I want to be here. I don't want to be in a lot of time. I want to take a quick shot right now. And then if it doesn't work out right away, I'll reassess and maybe think about more time. Right now, this is one where I think I have a good entry for a short dated contract. Quite frankly, Boeing, I've looked at this so many different ways. More often than not, it's better just to not buy a bunch of time and just remember to watch it, right? The shorter dated contracts would pay by far way better, right? A close definitely below that 203.50 would be huge short. But here, just on the short dated setup, we should see 200. So I have 200 puts in the near term. So this looks good right now for a continuation of the downside. I'm going to hold. I'll take a trim, just a safety trim before the end of the day. I'm going to do real quick IWM. So I know a lot of people, I'm a big proponent of the January effect at the moment. Today's intraday action was pretty sketchy. I'll say that, right? And for me and my crew, I'd sent this voicemail this morning. I was like, look, Jay Powell came on 60 Minutes last night, and this was a pre-recorded 60 Minutes episode as an aside. And it was man, the guy, he's got this messaging campaign going on and he just needs to make his point, right? They're dovish by nature. That's also true. This was the spot, right? This was the spot where a higher low needed to happen. This is kind of one of the lowest spots, right? I'm not going to add here, right? I think this was a good spot, if you don't have it to enter, but I don't want to add because I'm already in this level. And I think it can base, right? So the week could end up being a quick whipsaw and then come right back up. So I'm not in short dated anything here. I'm not in February, nothing here, just as an aside. This is not a small position for me either. So if you guys are in IWM, just know I'm riding this right along with you guys. And for now, I need to see an uptrend reappear. The downtrend is broken, but doesn't mean that we're going right back into the uptrend. So that's what I need to see, right? For now, we do have this downtrend intact. I don't want to add into a downtrend, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm not, right? So if I do add, it's going to be over 193.50. And that's always been the level that stays the level for me. I don't want to add into an existing downtrend, even though this is a good spot, right? Equity, maybe different story. Because equity, I can absolutely sit that one out and continue to DCA, dollar cost average. All right, let's take a look at some of the rest of this, guys. So GLD, GDX. So I think, one thing to note, so when I take my first look at the market, it always looks like this. And it's actually on a 30-minute chart. And when I said, hey, look, the market's moved, the length of an average week, the orange boxes here are an average week's range. And I said to our group, hey, look, it's an average week's range within a 48-hour period. That's from Thursday low to Friday high. That's boom, 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 right? Do we break out? No, I don't think so. Did we kind of bounce right off this low? Yeah, definitely. This is Friday's low. This is Friday's high. I think this right here, this is our range for the next couple days. Right. I don't think we completely break out of this. I think we just kind of stall out, chop. My short side trade was a 491 put. That was right here. This was the absolute downside target at most. But anyways, this was the primary target here. I think we're good to go on this one. So I think we just chop sideways, right? I don't think we completely break out over 496 just yet. So, but But that said, this is kind of like, it is a bit of an uptrend. We just want to just take a breather, right? Don't need to press this right now. We're higher low and lower highs. So that means stall, just from a price action perspective. In terms of GDX and gold, so this is gold futures, but I'm not going to show you this chart right now. The one I want to look at is dollar, right? So this is the DXY or the dollar index. 104 is the key level. And if we pull this back really on a daily chart, this is why. So 104 is right here. And this is kind of been, let me just turn these lines off just for a bit. This has been like that major kind of area of contention. We're sitting about 105. So if I'm just looking at this, yeah, this is an impulse higher, but it can go a little bit higher, although not really much, right? This can quickly pull back. And so right now I'm just looking at this as a possible kind of like knee-jerk reaction from the market's perspective. I'm going to take some of these lines down really quick. This is our old double top. We're not in an uptrend unless we're really breaking over these levels, right? For now, it's just chopping. So I think gold gets into this chop zone for now, as long as the dollar is in a sideways kind of action, right? So here, this was that last real break of structure to the downside. BOS is my break of structure. Over here, this is like our double top here. Call it there. And then really we're just kind of testing this. So does that hold? That's what we want to know, right? We're sitting on it. So I don't like, can it pop up a little bit? Yeah, sure. This is one day. One day doesn't really make a trend. Right now, we're just chilling. It's a little bit exhausted, I will say, from a daily range perspective, way up at the very tippy top of an average daily move for the dollar. So this should pull back, which should give gold a bit of a breather, which looks like it's bouncing off the lows of its daily range. As an aside, second thing to watch for GDX is crude itself. So crude, we had the OPEC Plus meeting last week, February 2nd, I believe it was. As expected, they're increasing production. So, you know, funny thing, while everything's going on in the Red Sea and all the attacks and things like that, you know, crude is coming down, which we kind of knew. So we talked about that on our last week's plan. So, but that's kind of come and gone now. I think that's done. If it just bases here, I think this is fine. Now, maybe you could trade this range, but you know, oil has been stuck in this exact range from 70 to 80. I just don't see it going anywhere. I just don't. I think it's stuck in this box for probably the foreseeable future. So it can continue to go down just a little bit more. If you want to trade crude futures, that's fine. Maybe wait for it to bounce a little bit, but it's probably very close to its lows, which would be better for like an Exxon or Chevron trade now that they have earnings that are over. So, but anyways, so that's gold. And let's move this to GDX. So GDX got destroyed this morning. And so this is my GDX chart. We are a little bit below here. So this is almost the very low. I was like, 2750, I think was like my very low volume shelf right here. Just smacked it. So I didn't have to, but I saw it and I was like, oh, okay, I'm just going to BTFT. And Cece's like, what is BTFT? I'm like, buy the dip. So I bought it a little bit because they were so low on my contracts. But I've been saying this for a while. Like I can see this continuing to come down. This is a bit of a little like megaphone type pattern. We were saying, hey, look, this could be a quick take profit just on this kind of gap up. And so that said, from a downside perspective, we're actually at the lower end of this kind of broadening formation here. And I will once we're so now we're retesting the lower end of this broadening, of this broken downtrend and the lower end of that broadening formation now. So this is my level, or at least very, very close to it. I think from here moving forward, it's buy the dip kind of mode engaged in full size. And I really want to see, and that's it, right? So next dip, that's it. I cannot see this go below 2650. That's it. Cannot go below that. And it has to make the move in the next like week and a half. Otherwise, that trade will be invalidated. So time is crucial on GDX for me. And it's very, very dependent on this dollar coming back down. Not so much on crude, but more so on this dollar coming back down and gold being able to revive itself. Can it have one more dip? Yeah, it can. So I'll be a little bit more patient. I didn't like fully load. If there's one more, then I will. But that will be it. And that's all she's going to be. That's all she will have written on GDX, and it'll either be then or never. All right, so let's see. IWM good. Boeing we did. Let me see if I got everything. I think we're good. All right, guys. So yeah, IWM bounce looks good, but just remember, look, it's early. Markets does a lot of stuff. Monday price action, I just don't put a whole lot of stock into it. There is one other Lulu. I'm not going to send this in the bot, but I will say Ruru is a short. Shorts. Short. Look at this nasty. GDX buy cluster 27 spot 30. Yeah, I like that level. Yeah, I like it. Right. It's definitely getting a nice cluster there. Like I said, it's one of those maybe where it can have an overnight dip. So I'm going to be building. I built a little bit. One more dip. And I'll hammer. And that's it. If she dips on me again after 2650, ripcord. Dunzo. That makes sense? I've traded her for years, like a decade. So I will just say, I don't even know how I'm looking at GDX this low, because I was trading GDX at like $20, $26, like a decade ago. And I'm like, how is this thing even here right now? It makes no sense to me. No sense that this is so low. So, but that aside, yeah, no freaking way. But yeah, anyways, I don't want to get my funny mentals in the way of this, right? So if this weekly candle, Frankie, get out of here, makes sense. I don't want to get like super biased, right? Like if this thing starts breaking down, it's going to break down, and it's going to break down to like 25. So I don't want to be around. It could be a potential. So like when it gets nasty, look, it gets nasty, and I do know that. So because I've been around for that too. It can get real nasty, like for no reason. And then it like quickly whipsaws. So it might be one where it's like worth a short-term hedge. Who knows? And that is what I did put out this morning. Like it might be worth a short-term hedge while building longs on something like this. Who knows? Back to Ruru. Ruru got a downgrade last week. Did you know that? Sure did. And yeah, this is just a nice series of lower highs and lower lows on Ruru. This is a big level we're breaking today. So this morning, I'm looking at this and I'm like, look at that. We're about to crack. So I had this on watch to open short on Friday, and I didn't, of course, because it was NFP. And then this morning it opened at a perfect level to slap it short. But now it's bouncing, and I did send it quickly for like a quick one, and it bounced on me the second that I sent it, of course. But yeah, this close, if it closed below 454, and definitely if you see Ruru below 450, she's gonna dump. Like she's gonna dump. So just be on watch. Like there's not a lot of volume on these guys, but the level's like 416, 420. Yeah. It's a lot lower. A lot lower. Just as an aside. So careful. I would be more of a spread trader on this one. If you're not familiar with debit spreads, I would say a debit spread might be your friend. If you are familiar with something like this, I would probably look at like a 450, 400 put debit spread for a couple months out. But otherwise, short-term bets on short-term puts, opportunistically taken are not bad either, for sure. IWM last ad today. Yeah. I'm a fanboy, man. I'm a fanboy. That's all I'll say. Meta. I think Meta was good. 450 was my downside target. We'll see. A lot of stuff. Nvidia got big old move upside. We'll see. DraftKings. Oh, DraftKings. Oh God, Uber. DraftKings side note does Super Bowl is not this weekend. It's next weekend. It's this coming weekend. So maybe you get some continuation. I don't know. I think last week was probably the time to take it. Feb 15th is earnings. Yeah, so maybe it's this week. You get some like final push. You could put that on watch over 42, and then it's sell the news. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Hype trade. Uber, this thing just rocket. God, rocket. Insane. Oh, CrowdStrike. I should consolidate. Anyways, I think I'm just kind of like going through. Oh, I do have Target. So Target, man, this Target weekly was looking really good. I have this level was my kind of like stop. I wanted to see this guy close over 145. She's pulling back on me. Some fears right now. So we'll see if she can't close better. I might just close it because she's still going to be in consolidation. She sucks. But I have this weird feeling if I close it now, she's going to pop on me tomorrow. Which means I might just be better off closing it and then opening it tomorrow. Anyways. Most likely. ARM earnings coming. CRM's good. I ain't pay PayPal at all. Coin just died this morning. She died. Watch her continue to rip. Snowflake, no continuation. Snowflake, I knew that. We knew that Snowflake was going to do that. How do we do that? So there's another gap to the upside, but I had, I think we were telling 219. Where's my, is it not on here? Oh, I think I took it off because it had filled. Here, we'll see. You had to go way back to the Wayback Machine. Is this it? So I was grabbing all these little gaps. So there was this gap. This gap is next. 215. But there was one at 219 something. 219.01 was one. Must have been like an unfilled gap over there. Anyways, I had gone way back and found this gap at 219.01. And that's exactly where she filled and stopped. Don't ask me how I did it. But that's what I did. It was probably in here. One of these guys. Like one of these. Ding, ding, ding. Anyways, that's where she stopped. Right in here. So she can fill here. And then she'll fill Look at this. And then she'll fill up here. Let her back and fill. Because she's got a lot of these. She's going to go up, though. Why doesn't this populate more? Yeah, she's got a lot of these gaps. Not that they have to, but I would like them to. Did you know she was all the way up here, $400? Yeah, I did. Because I was trading her then. Anyways, let's take a look real quick. This is still number one stock of the year. All right, so back and fill. Let's take. Did you get excited about this 231 like pre-market candle, shenanigans candle? No. We are holding what? Oh, look at that nice little dink this morning. Right off that 210. I know Fraggle grabbed that. So she did this to us once before, right? But it wasn't the day one. So let her create. What did she do? So before she did this, and she did a dink, and then she bounced and she created a lower high. Dink. She bounced, created a lower high, and then she created a little bit of a downtrend. This is what I'm telling you right here. So it was 195 or 185, right? And then it was 195, 183. Now it's going to be 200s. So 202, if you see her at 202, you want to hammer there. When do we have earnings? Feb 28th. If you see her even for a second, sub 210, 206, 210, you're going to fill this fair value. Even for a second. Boom. You probably want to start hammering right in there. Somewhere in here. Cool. Don't let her get you. Don't let her get you. All right. I will find a better entry. Winter Soldier, powerful long term. Yeah, man. Huge bag. Huge bag. There's this, this is a huge power move the other day. So, assume that we have some kind of fair value to fill in here. Assume it. I would happily sell some more 200 puts. Happily. But this is not all a short-term hold. It's just not. It's an equity bag. You like Dexcon equity? I like Snowflake equity. All right, guys. I think that's it for me. It's been real. It's been fun. I think we're a little over. So love you. I'll see you on Spaces. Until next time. Adios. Peace out. Late.